Chapter 1. Why Pride? What is pride? We know what pride is, right? Unfortunately, we don't.
For a single word, it might surprise you that it encompasses all that it does. But there are many words that also have equally complicated meanings. Take, for example, the word love. In ancient Greek, there were at least 8 different words for love. Each word had its own nuance of meaning. 1. Sexual. 2. Friendship. 3. Familial. 4. Playful. 5. Selfless or charity. 6. Long-standing or marriage. 7. Self-love, narcissism. And 8. Obsessive. Pride is a word that may desperately need a similar treatment. But since that treatment is not likely to happen, perhaps the next best thing would be to work at understanding what might be happening with the word pride in present day. The first indication I'd come across of pride being different was from a book by C.S. Lewis. In his book Mere Christianity, there was a description of pride which included the following. There is one vice of which no one in the world is free, which everyone in the world loathes when they see it in someone else. There is no fault which makes someone more unpopular, and no fault which we are more unconscious of in ourselves. And the more we have it in ourselves, the more we dislike it in others. Reading Lewis's thoughts in Mere Christianity planted the first seeds of my theories on pride. But there was another thing from that book which grabbed my attention. C.S. Lewis implied that many Christians had pinpointed pride as the sin that had caused the devil to become the devil. If pride is the beginning of the devil himself, then it suggests a lot of serious aspects of pride we don't see or understand.
Shifting blame.
Pride doesn't just drag good concepts like confidence or self-esteem down to its level. Pride also guides us to believe all things have equal or greater potential for being evil. Ironically, it typically does this by adding itself into a word's definition, making it impossible to single out. The 7 deadly sins are some of the greatest examples of pride blending in to avoid blame. So let us look over each of the 7 deadly sins and see how pride has made its way into each one.
The 7 deadly sins. Greed.
From a dictionary in the 1800s, greediness was originally defined as an eagerness of appetite or desire. With that definition, greed could actually be used as a useful motivator. However, from a 2018 dictionary, its definition is listed as an intense and selfish desire for something, especially wealth, power, or food. In the original definition of greed, greed alone does not guarantee you will do something deadly or evil. If you desire and acquire great amounts of wealth, power, and food without hurting others and end up helping others with what you acquired, then greed may have helped you do great things. It was only once the word selfish was added to greed's definition that there was any chance to rationally believe that greed could be thought of as deadly as pride.
Lust.
A couple in a loving and healthy relationship understands that sexual desire can be good. It also is needed to continue the survival of the human race. It's when you introduce pride that it becomes more disruptive. Only with pride can lust become a sexual desire that might result in evil and hurtful behaviors, such as rape or sexual abuse. Normally, people wouldn't do those horrific things if they were only acting based on intense sexual desire. But if pride's inordinate self-esteem ever convinced someone it was justified, they might. So the better question might not be, how could someone do such an evil thing just for lust? It might be, how could anyone ever believe that rape or sexual abuse is acceptable? And I believe it only becomes acceptable if pride is allowed into our belief system. Pride's inordinate self-esteem allows humans to feel and believe that some people have more value or worth than others. And if something is of low to no value, even another human being, how likely are you to treat that with care and respect? Society constantly analyzes and looks at lust, because we look at intense sexual desire as the source of the problem. What we don't look at and analyze nearly as often is pride. So we continue blaming lust, not realizing that without pride, lust might be all bark and no bite.